once knew a kid who had good grades, living in the ghetto. Through hardships he never swayed, once made his family proud and was highly regarded. Till the streets of Toronto got to his heart and scarred it. The pressure of thugs on the block proved to be too great. Never spoke to girls or even touched the cocaine, but at the frail age of 11 he committed many crimes, always running from the police, arrested each time. He stayed out late, chilling with all the wrong people. Some were twice his age, but he was still treated equal. It was this crucial factor that made Suvi evil. Sadly, the devil already had him. Resistance was futile. He began to build the trust of very few. It was these goons that wanted him to join the crew. So he had to prove his worth, and he had to swear his allegiance. He was to kill his best friend to get his gang license. But the cold-hearted child didn't have second thoughts. He turned around with a pistol and fired 6 shots. That night was the first time that Suvi had held a gun. I wish I could say it was his last, so his thug life begun. All the nigga ever wanted was to be accepted as one, but his greed was leading him away from living honest. His obsession was eating his soul, turning him into a menace. Till it was finally too late, he was claimed by darkness. Everyone trying to be trite never faced the consequences. You probably only did a month for minor offenses. Ask a nigga doing life if he had one chance. But then again, there's always the wicked that knew in advance. That's forever with the devil on a cold cell block. But that's what happens when you rape, murder, and sell rock. Devils used to be gods, angels that fell from the top. There's no diversity because we're burning in the melting pot. And so Suvi went around, hustling and making a name. From what used to be a nerd, he started to build fame. He made plenty friends and smoked plenty weed, but still had haters that didn't want to see him succeed. So on the night of October 9th, 2003, Suvi was walking home feeling ever so free. Then he heard the sirens roaring and Suvi picked up the pace. But what he saw around the corner brought fear to his face. The bright flickering of fire paralyzed him with awe. Rocking eyes of pity, but 3 people were all he saw. His family taken away, wounds as deep as the bone. Even with so many people around him, Suvi felt so alone. He rushed to the ambulance, the paramedics looked grim. They weren't able to say the chances of survival was slim. So the ride to the hospital was quiet and somber. The only sounds were his sobs over his mom's shoulder. At the emergency room, the scene was chaotic, patients were clearing the way. The whole place was in panic, the medics rushed him to a room and Suvi waited all night. The first time he prayed to God, oh what a rare sight. He cried and recited every prayer that he knew, but the devil had his heart and Suvi couldn't break through. Karma caught up to him and made him pay for his dues. So the next morning he lost his parents and his little brother too. I'm falling and I can't turn back. I'm falling and I can't turn back. After the death of his family, Suvi was thrown out on the streets, contemplating suicide. He finally admitted defeat. The devil took over, and his life was left in ruins. The saddest part was he knew that this was his wrongdoing. That day Suvi knew exactly what he had to do. After the death of his family, he wanted to follow them too, but there's no way he was headed up there after all was said and done. An urban nightmare was ended with the sound of a gun. Suvi had a life full of potential and promise, but he threw it away for popularity and became mindless. A feeble young man, influenced by society's greed, knew what he was getting into, but still he agreed. So Suvi's crew lived on to tell his tale, going from urban scum to educating the young of these violent affairs. Still new hoodlums come along looking for recognition. They don't understand life and won't listen to reason. They don't understand where it leads them, but they soon find out. The devil lurks within their hearts, watching how long they'll hold out. Listen up, every word I said was true, cause I was there when Suvi shot his friend to join the crew. After your death, you had me contemplating life's purpose. I looked back at all I had done and felt worthless, terrified of the devil. I learned from your mistakes. Money and fame were temptations that I realized were fake. The devil's shadow still watches me, ready to tighten his grip. Eyes filled with contempt and scorn, waiting for me to slip. Cause when you died, the devil left me a note.
Mess up once and you'll be following him.
He wrote, the message is a curse reminding me of our crimes. I think about it every pen stroke and at the end of each rhyme. Sometimes when I think about it, I look up to the heavens. In a way it was fate, I wasn't meant to live for one person. Everyone trying to be trite never faced the consequences. You probably only did a month for minor offenses. Ask a nigga doing life if he had one chance. But then again, there's always the wicked that knew in advance. That's forever with the devil on a cold cell block. But that's what happens when you rape, murder, and sell rock. Devils used to be gods, angels that fell from the top. There's no diversity because we're burning in the melting pot.
Before you look in the mirror and you see a fucking gangster, before you look in the mirror you think you see a fucking man. understand.